Number 46, Lee Smith.
He wanted everybody to know that this game was over, that Lee Smith was about to take them out.
Struck him out. He threw it right by him. And the big guy walks off like a big man should.
He loved to just go right at you. He loved his fastball.
Lee Smith records save number 477 lifetime.
We had the lead after 7. You were going to have to deal with Lee Smith. 90% of the time, you were going to go home a loser.
D-Rose said at the commercial break nobody would want to deal with him. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we will have the Hall of Fame Classic Legends game live on MLB.com. Now, each MLB team will be represented by a former member of their club, and
That's
8
cool.
of those players, so cool, are Hall of Famers, including Lee Smith, who is kind enough to take some time with us this morning. Lee, good morning to you. We're thrilled to talk with you. What was your first thought when you were asked to put a jersey back on?
I tell you what, it was exciting just to see some of the guys, like especially a good idol of mine, Fergie Jenkins and guys like that. But I hadn't seen so many of the other guys like George Brett and Wade Boggs, which was a teammate of mine. But it's really good to get back out there. And I've been looking over the list of the team that's going to be there, and it's really some great names on there, especially Steve Saxon guys.
Have you practiced? Have you warmed up?
Yeah.
No. When you're a coach, they don't be working about you not hitting the bat. So it took me a long time to want to hit that bat because you go work for 40 years and keep a guy from hitting the ball, and then you start as a coach, and you want to throw it down in the middle of something that just hits in the mind. It's sort of tough to get.
Are we buzzing the tower on anyone, announcing our presence with authority? I mean, what?
It depends if they get good swings.
Lee, I feel like you had 90% of the hitters that stepped in the box out before they. I mean, did you just know how intimidating you were on the bump?
Well, you know what? There's not very many guys that you can intimidate that's going to be around very long.
Yeah.
So the main thing is I took my time to let the hitters think a little bit, So that was really sort of in my little idea of taking my time to get to the mound.
Lee, we mentioned earlier, D-Row had talked about Brandon Marsh of the Angels, who was a two-sport star, played a lot of different sports growing up. You were quite a basketball player. How did some of that other skill set and some of the other things that you learned playing other sports, how did that help you on the baseball diamond?
Well, I tell you what, man, that's the best thing I think a kid can do growing up is to play all the different sports. Because you don't know, I actually thought I had a better jump shot than a fastball, but it worked out like that, But that's why I think you find the complete athletes, because in my era, we had a lot of guys what they call 5-2 players, and if you don't get a chance to use all of these talents and skills and muscles and hand-eye coordination, you don't know. Because if it would have been totally up to me, I wanted to be a basketball player, but I found out I had better skills as a baseball. But I think sometimes. And growing up as kids, the coaches don't want them to play another sport, thinking they get hurt playing football and you can't play basketball and so on. But I think you find the better athletes by letting the guy do all of it.
Honestly, say it louder for the people in the back. That was awesome. Everyone, Lee, who goes to Cooperstown says every time they go, they notice or appreciate something new or something different. What do you appreciate most about it being there?
I really like that. I'm a country boy, so I love this place, because it reminds me of coming home, But the weird thing is getting to it, and all the scenery that you get to look at getting to Cooperstown. And I always said during my speech, I said, you know what? It's really hard getting to the Hall of Fame, and literally it's hard.
You're right about that. It's not an easy road to get there. You're right.
Oh, yeah, but you know what? On that same token is like, as a kid, most guys don't think about Hall of Fame. I'm like, hey, man, I just want to make the high school team. I want to make the college team and so on. But I tell you what, I never thought that my name would be on the wall with the guys like Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth and all those guys. My hometown don't have a red light to this day, man. So it's really amazing.
That's unbelievable.
Lee, I saw you sitting behind Fergie Jenkins the other day in Chicago when they unveiled his statue. Take me inside that and why you were there and what it meant to you.
Well, I tell you what, man, it was really, really awesome. I said it in the little bitty speech that we did. Fergie, I looked up to him as a kid coming up, and I said, now I'm still looking up to him. But the things that he did off the field is it's unbelievable, man. The things he gets back with his charity and foundation. But just the person that he was, And I actually did. I was looking at a couple of books about Fergie Jenkins and his 3,000 and so much strikeouts, and it said one of Fergie Jenkins' 3,000 strikeout. It was actually me. You can see this on my back, So it's like I imitated this guy. I wanted to room with him, but he was trying to get away from me. I was picking his mind about pitching, and he learned me so many things about reading the bat speed and all, something that I had no idea when I got to the big leagues about trying to do. And he got me into looking at batting practice of the other team. And I'm like, why are we watching the other team hit, man? And it was like, those guys going to be working on their shortcomings and things like that. So I started doing that even after Fergie left.
Oh, wow. That's a great note there. Lee, obviously bullpens are a big part of today's game. They're used differently than when you were a player. Who are some closers or relievers that you watch now or you come across and they fascinate you or impress you?
Well, you know what? You got to go with the kid we were just looking at, Hader. He's just got God-given talent, man. It's just it looks so easy. But the one thing is, you find out the good closers that when they struggle a little bit. The one kid with Atlanta now, Jensen. I always look at him as I always call him Little Lee because he reminds me so much of myself.
Oh, wow.
But
why? Why?
Why does he remind you? Yeah.
Because of where I actually my first year or so playing like ball in the minor league, not minor league, but really like as a rookie, stick ball, everything. I was a catcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I found out I couldn't hit, so I had to get on the mound. That slide will let you know real early you can't hit, and that's the one thing I think me and him have that connection. And I look at like Dave Stewart, those type guys. He was a catcher, and those guys like that, you look at, what you had to change of knowing about pitches that you couldn't hit, so you got to learn how to throw it. But that's the one kid that I see. But he's struggling a little bit, and then see him get better. I'm just glad to see, and hopefully he can stay healthy.
All right, you say you're a country boy, right? I always ask everybody what they had for breakfast today. Are you going like country fried steak and eggs?
Ooh,
what are we doing for breakfast?
Hey, man, I tell you what, Miss Clark here has everything. I had to do a lot. I had the buffet, man. I worked everything. I was down with Fergie Jenkins, matter of fact, a little while ago in his life.
Yeah.
I had like the link sausage with French toast, had the coffee, things like that. I'm trying to keep this weight off, man, because I'm a little late watching it, man. She's been watching. She told me, hey, I'm not going to be running around with some fat dude, so I got to try to keep it off.
Hey, well, Lee, I know you're going to look great in that uniform this weekend. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're glad that we're going to be seeing you participate in the weekend here in Cooperstown. Thank you very much for the time.
Hey, my pleasure, man. You got to get back down to Monroe.
Yeah, man. There you go. The great Lee Smith joining us here on MLB Central. Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. We appreciate the time. And once again, you can check out the Cooperstown Classic, the Hall of Fame Classic Legends game tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be live streamed on MLB.com. There's some ticket information on if you're interested, if you're in the area, call that number or check out the website.